There's a score to settle here at the mid-season brawl as the Western Clash champion goes up against the Eastern Clash champion in what is sure to be an awesome series. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the analysis desk as I am joined by Kaldor, Grubby, and Fen to break down what is going to be a damn good series here between two of the very best in the world. Dignitas going up against MVP. Kaldor.
It's definitely going to be a fantastic series. We just had one with one European team, now we're getting another one. And the audience here is absolutely fantastic. The energy in the crowd when you see the teams play and perform these massive team fights on the maps, it's insane. It's absolutely stunning.
You gotta think that after Fnatic 3-0'd E-Star, who looked the best in the group stage from all the teams, that should be a little bit of a confidence boost potentially for Dignitas here, going up against MVP Black.
Yeah, for me personally, I think after watching the last series, I'm pretty convinced that anything goes among the top 4 teams. You know, anyone can beat anyone, so Dignitas, I would not count them out at all, you know, just because their opponent is MVP Black.
I would actually say that after Fnatic just took that 3-0, that quite a few of the players on Dignitas are going to be sitting there and saying, like, if they 3-0 the Chinese team, we can't lose this series. No. We have to win now as well.
Continue that pride of Europe, keep it going. And of course, there is always that dynamic where Dignitas seems to beat Fnatic on these lands, so it's a very weird thing as it gets broken down. But obviously, it's a big deal, big match feel here for MVP going up against Dignitas. They're very close with one another, teams, actually. Many tournaments they've been together, and there's a good reputation between them. There's a good amount of respect between them as well, Kaldor.
Yeah, especially between all of the top 4 teams, and they hang out at the hotel outside of that, go and get food together. Yeah. And there's always banter going on the entire time. I mean, it started on the first day and didn't stop since, so that's just going to continue. And they are all very hyped. And the two teams right now, I believe this is going to be an awesome series for sure.
Overall, we saw Fnatic. We've seen them go from the group stage, going up against MVP Black, and it's very clear that in some of those games, they were hiding things going into the group stage. How much are Dignitas and MVP hiding coming into this? Do you think they've shown a lot of their hands, or do you think there's still more to these two teams?
So we had a sit down with all the teams here that are in attendance of the mid-season brawl, and what MVP Black and Team Dignitas were saying, we're pretty good at our mechanics, we're good with our rotation, and so on and so forth. But what we don't really have a grasp on yet is the current meta game. What are the absolute best heroes to ban and pick right now? Fnatic, they said, we've got our own meta, and they showed that here in the first series of the playoffs. All these heroes that they suddenly prioritized that they have not even looked at in the group stage with Brightwing and Falstad. But Dignitas, I think, they're just playing their comfort heroes. They have had a love relationship with Arthas for just ages.
True.
And so I think Dignitas is very much learning as we go, which is why they usually get better and better as the tournament goes on.
Yeah, definitely agree with Grubby here. The 3 teams I would say that were most confident in their own metas coming into this tournament would be Fnatic, Dignitas, and E-Star for me. And for me, Fnatic seems to be like the team that would be willing to really prepare a lot and pull out these weird strategies like they just did against E-Star. Dignitas, like Grubby said, I feel like they're much more likely to play their usual comfort style of game, but at the same time, I feel like MVP Black is more prone to playing comfort as well.
Yeah.
So.
Well, of course, we've got to introduce our teams getting into our next series here in the playoffs. And it's a big one, especially for Merryday, as this will be his last LAN stage that he will be playing on for Heroes of the Storm. So without further ado, it's MVP Black.
저는 실력 유지를 위해서 아무래도 솔로 랭크를 좀 자주 하는 편이고요. 그리고 대회 때 좀 이렇게 느끼는 점 있잖아요. 그런 거를 머릿속에서 계속 구상하고 잠들기 전까지도 계속 생각하다가 그거를 좀 플레이에 영향을 나타내는데 그게 주로 기량 향상에 도움이 되는 것 같아요. 좋은 팀워크를 하기 위해서는 핵심이 되는 부분은 아무래도 의사소통인 것 같아요. 게임 중간중간에 내가 뭘 할게, 너네가 무엇을 해줘, 아니면 혹은 여기 합류해서 누구를 덮쳐갖고 죽이자, 뭐 이런 콜이 얼마나 잘 나오느냐에 따라서 게임 흐름에 엄청나게 큰 영향을 미치는 것 같아서 의사소통이 가장 중요한 것 같아요.
MVP Black moves towards the core and they are shredding it.
Convincing victory by MVP Black, 11 kills against 0. A 4-level lead right now as they are destroying the core.
아무래도 이기는 방법은 저희가 최대한 머리를 모아갖고 유럽 메타와 미국 메타 그리고 중국 메타가 어떻게 상성이 맞물리고 한국에서 한국인들이 가장 잘 사용할 수 있는 메타가 무엇인지를 가장 먼저 발견하는 게 그게 이기는 키포인트가 될 것 같아요. 저한테는 이기는 의미가 이제 마지막 경기를 향해 가고 있고 이거 이제 한 판 한 판이 저한테는 좀 솔직히 압박감이 심해요. 이거를 지면은 이대로 은퇴인데 분해서 과연 내가 잘 수 있을까 이런 생각이 좀 많이 들어갔고 최대한 이기고 싶어요.
A previous world champion in MVP Black takes to the stage now as they look to try and change the balance of things here, with Europe already having one team in that upper bracket finals. Boys, what can you tell me about MVP Black?
The one thing that impressed me about MVP Black is that I think in the group stage, they showed a few of their strategies. We saw them with their tendency to also go into double supports with hyper carry Valas, for example. But they also pulled out a lot of strategies you didn't expect. We talked on the sudden priority that Chen got in a few of those games. And a lot of these games were played by MVP Black. And they said even before that when they took the victory over Fnatic, for example, they didn't actually show anything. Mary, they talked about it. He said, like, it was a sweet victory for us, and it was even better because we didn't have to show anything special. So they definitely have a few strategies prepared. But one of the things that I look towards is, once again, the Korean mechanics that we all admire.
Yeah, I'm feeling Calder on this one, because you look at MVP Black, they're obviously very intelligent individuals. Mm-hmm. They work together well as a team. They have excellent mechanics, like their micro, their team fight, and so on. And even though their meta wasn't where it should be at the beginning of the tournament, I feel like they can look at all the metas and play all of them. Yeah. Vala Ariel, Pocket Pick Chen, they can play European meta, they've shown it. And I feel like when they copy and adopt that style, even with 1 or 2 days notice, they adopt it better than almost anyone. I don't think that Dignitas will suddenly run Vala Ariel as strongly as E-Star have shown it.
Right.
But I believe MVP Black could.
They're the ultimate shapeshifter. They've adopted all of these they're the ultimate Abathur, effectively. They've assimilated
They are Abathur.
They've assimilated everything that they took from the group stage. They watch the other teams play, and they just play it well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've been talking about the Korean teams and how they started off rocky, and MVP Black is adapting a lot faster than L5 or so, it seems, from the group stages. Yeah. So they are looking scary, and we're about to find out just how well prepared they really are right now.
Yes, we are. We've introduced our Eastern Clash champions. Now let's take a look at our Western Clash champions. Of course, it is Team Dignitas.
It would definitely mean a lot to us to win the MSB. Historically, we've been really dominant across the West, and especially across Europe, but that's never extended into the global competition. We've always had a huge amount of issues when we face the Korean teams. Our biggest fear for this event would be MVP Black. We do know that Korea is weaker than before. We're not scared, but we're definitely keeping our eyes on them. I think we keep up consistency by constantly setting goals for ourselves, and also a lot of practice. We're focusing a lot on just trying to make it so that we always have an ace up our sleeves. We have an extra edge that we can pull out, and that's gonna put us just over the top. Every time we try and make a play or we try and make a set piece happen, everyone instantly knows what's going to go down and what they need to do to make it better.
Dignitas moving in at the 12-minute mark. Genji is trying to go big.
We have the best team fighting in the world. I really want this to be the game changer, the time when we turn it around and we actually win.
That is Team Dignitas, the team that in the past has been very vocal about, as much as they mentioned just in that interview there, that they have been dominant in the Western world. It doesn't carry too much through to the truly international tournaments, and every change they have made on their team has been in the hopes of being the world #1 Kaldor.
For me, they are really a tournament team. They show this over and over again. As you said, they're not only the Western champion, but at every single event within the region, they dominate, even if they're not predicted to. Even if they go into it and say, hey, we just come from 20 losses in scrims, we feel really bad, and all of a sudden, they pick up a little momentum, they get better and better from game to game, and this is what they're trying to show at the international stage now too, and I believe they can make that happen.
And in the group stage, they were able to defeat L5 3 maps in a row, which is a big statement here going up against another Korean team.
Yeah, and Dignitas didn't have like the very best start to this group stage too. They have, you know, the way I see Dignitas, even in like the game itself, in each individual game, it's almost never, unless they grossly outclass their opponent, a complete wipe from start to finish. Dignitas strike me very much as a kind of drunken boxer. They take a few hits, they fall down, they stand up, and suddenly, oh, it was all part of their style. What a nice, you know, right hook or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at the start of the tournament, and even throughout the tournament, we've really been hearing teams say, you know what, the strongest teams at this tournament, definitely MVP Black, L5, Fnatic, they're really up there, and then maybe Dignitas somewhere in the 4th place, but they're not as good as the other 3. I don't believe that anymore. I think Dignitas is every bit, you know, as good as the other 3, if not better, and I'm not going to be underestimating them anymore.
We saw Wobby hooks in the previous series. Will we see JPL hooks in this series is a question.
He just released the Stitches guide. I wonder if he will teach it to MVP Black.
Yeah, let's see, let's see. So let's take a look at the maps that we're going to be going to as well between, or at least the first map that we're going to go to between these 2 teams in just a few moments' time. Do you have any kind of speculation as to where we could be going, considering their strengths, weaknesses?
When it comes to the maps, not really. There's nothing that necessarily stands out since we changed the format into the best of 5 now. But the one thing that I want to note quickly is, if Dignitas wins this, we have a winner bracket final between 2 European teams.
Yes, correct.
And even coming from the European region, if you would have told me that before the tournament started, I would have called you crazy.
We're going to be on Tomb of the Spider Queen to start things off here, but you make a very good point. Whilst we have Warhead Junction and Braxis Holdout banned out. So let's see if MVP Black can stop that momentum of Europe. It's a weird sentence I just said. What did I just say? Because overall, it used to be, can Europe stop the momentum of Korea going on? So there has truly been a shakeup here at the mid-season Brawl, and it's all thanks to the way HGC has formed around these teams to be able to push them further.
You can really tell that this league format in particular really helps to just grow the skill level within the regions, and that constant training, the constant performance that we see in the European scene, North American scene, and Korea just brings us closer together, and that's very evident in the games we've seen thus far.
Yeah, Korea already had leagues. They were always on top. Now Europe and North America has gotten better. They have leagues now. It seems like a pretty strong correlation.
Absolutely. Let's get into it. Draft number 1 here. The final series for the playoffs of the day as we have MVP Black going up against Team Dignitas.
Yeah, moving very fast towards the pick ban phase here. We see a new Brack banned by MVP and Genji banned out by Team Dignitas. The Uther first pick, pretty common. Leaving up a lot of power picks though. I think we're gonna see something like maybe the Malfurion, the Dahaka, even the Greymane could be a potential here. We'll have to see what Dignitas wants. MVP did crucially ban Dignitas as the new Brack. I know that they were saying that JPL is one of the best new Bracks out there, and just from what I've seen, I agree with them. Yeah. He is very, very on point with his new Brack play.
This is also one of the maps where Dignitas really loves to run their Stitches. Yep. So this is something we could definitely see here. And I'm pretty sure MVP Black knows that as well. So this is one of those setups where later on towards the draft, we could see a few curveballs, especially since when we're talking about a map like Tomb of the Spider Queen, something like Wave Clear becomes, of course, so much more important. But at this point, MVP Black is just right out of the gate bringing out the double support Vala.
Yeah,
and
instantly.
Banking onto the hyper carry plays.
Now, we saw Fnatic kind of solve the double support Vala play against eStar just now in the first, let's say, quarterfinals, the semifinals of the winner bracket, and they used heavy isolation style with Emerald Wind, Mighty Gust, Stitches, Hook, Gorge, and so on and so forth. Dignitas, they have never really played that much like Fnatic recently, like this kind of isolation style. Dignitas very much love that double warrior style. They just kind of always go even with the opponents, try to stay alive, and then win a really good fight in the late game. So I wonder if this will give them trouble, but this isn't the usual double support Vala. It's Uther and Ariel, and therefore it's a little bit more surprising as well.
Dignitas is a lot of different styles they can play, but already earlier, Clarity talked about, for example, Arthur's as an option for them. I could see this here on the map. We talked also about the Stitches. There's definitely a few plays they can make already. They can combo the two, they've done it in the past.
Yeah.
And if they get a hook against an Oriel or against an Vala, that would be exactly what they need, a quick burst with the help of Greymane, the lockdown with Malfurion. So they definitely have options to at least attempt and get a similar isolation to what Fnatic did when they faced Easter.
Is Tyrael a good ban here? What do you think?
I think Tyrael is okay. I would have loved to see something like a Stitches ban, actually. I think if you banned out the Stitches, you force JPL on... and the instant take. Oh, man.
Yeah, that surprises me a lot that Diablo gets banned out. That feels to me a bit like MVP Black mixed up the team names and looked up Fnatic instead.
They've been doing this ever since they played Roll20. It's like that game actually traumatized them against Diablo. They just constantly banned it second phase, no matter what, almost.
The Lord of Terror forever burned on the retina of MVP Black's collective eyes.
I mean, Fan, you just said it. You expected more Stitches ban, and I have to admit, I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
You know how Dignitas plays here. It's actually what catapulted them to be the Western champion when they played Fnatic. This is where it started. All of a sudden, Stitches came out. Nobody played it at the time, and all of a sudden, everybody said, you know what? This actually looks good. We try that too. It happened throughout the entire season, and MVP Black apparently hasn't caught up, and now they are facing that strategy.
What does MVP Black take here? Because the thing is that Dignitas could follow this up technically with a Kael'thas or any mage that they want.
Kael'thas, Chromie.
Yeah, but the problem is that MVP Black doesn't really have any dive at the moment. Valor's going to go deep, potentially, of course, but not deep enough.
So if MVP Black doesn't get dive, even though they have double support, they would still need to run a delete the tank composition.
Yes.
Not that attractive against Leoric Stitches, as one doesn't matter when he dies and the other is very hard to die. Plus, what's usually used for that is a Greymane or a Tychus. So MVP Black would need to add Tychus since Greymane is already taken away. So like if they can't burn the front line and they can't dive, it's very much like that long sustained fight, but it looks like Dignitas has more control. And there we get some control. I like that one a lot. That really can change a little bit, but there isn't big follow-up to Void Prison. It's just very much just isolation.
And at the same time, you're going up against someone who is playing a lot around with Malfurion. Scouting drone is a thing here. This is going to be a rough game for MVP Black.
It's looking a little bit more difficult here, but the Zeratul does pose some threat to that potential of, trying to get to the mage, as I was mentioning before.
But you Void Prison, there is no big follow-up. We talk about wombo combo a lot. Big hitting, area of effect, heroic abilities. They aren't really there unless you want to set up Crystal Aegis to explode on a Void Prison, but I don't know. I don't really like Black's draft, but at the same time, it's MVP Black. They must have a plan.
Fan, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I really like the first three picks. They got the, Holy Trinity with the new style of Uther Oreo with the Vala, but then they kind of didn't ban the Stitches and they pivoted into the Zeratul, which doesn't have any, when I look at it, I can't really tell off the bat what they want to do with it. So it's kind of weird for me. I do like Dignitas' draft a lot better.
Time for predictions.
I mean, I agree with everything that Fan just said. I also believe in the hooks of JPL. I say Dignitas takes this.
Are you going to say my name first, or shall I just talk?
I'm just looking at you.
I think the teams are close enough in level that the draft will be somewhat decisive. I'm going to go with Dignitas.
I'm glad you figured out my prediction meta. That's impressive. You were anticipating both
you're going
options.
in order.
There you go. Wow. Fan?
I think I'm going to have to go with Dignitas as well on this one. They have exactly what they want. It's time to see if they can pull off the combo.
Wow. All right. A Dignitas across the board. Let's see what chat thinks as well going into this series. As everybody's on the European hype train. What is happening here? 25% for a former world champion as we go into game number 1. We'll check in with the boys after the game. For now, though, it's time to go over to our caster team to bring us our final playoff of the day. MVP Black going up against Dignitas.
In his interview, Merryday said he feels pressure every game because every game could be his last. But Team Dignitas, although Bakery said he was excited for this series, has yet to win a game against MVP Black. Looking at the past World Championships, what do you think of the drafts, Trick?
Oh man, the drafts are crazy. It's going to be a good one. The Clash of Champions happening here at the MSB. Let's go ahead and jump straight on into it. On the right side, in the red, it's going to be Dignitas, but on the blue, it's going to be MVP Black. The honors are yours.
MVP Black Reset playing Uther, Sake playing Vala, Mary Day playing Ariel, Kyocha playing Zeratul, and Tist playing Muradin.
And in the red, Dignitas, here they are. European Western class champion Snitch on Greymane, Bakery on Malfurion, JPL on Stitches, Zalia on Leoric, and Mane on the Chromester.
A lot of Dignitas fans in the audience as we head into Tomb of the Spider Queen for game number 1. It was interesting to see Dignitas pick this battleground considering it has been a strong point for MVP Black in the past. We'll see how the drafts work out. Dignitas, they have a lot of comfort picks between Mene's Chromie. We've got Snitch's Greymane, and who can forget JPL Stitches?
That's right. MVP Black has been great on this battleground, but so has Dignitas. A real test of will here between our two teams. JPL will be the one that you have to keep an eye on. As you mentioned, his Stitches is great, but I'm also going to keep an eye on that Muradin. Tist will be very effective at stopping these engagements if he jumps in and brings out the Storm Bolts.
It is really interesting to see the evolution of Reset as a player for MVP Black. When we looked at HGC Korea, Reset was the person who was playing Vala always. He was playing these hyper-aggressive sort of Zing C types of heroes, but now Sake is the Vala player and Reset's playing Uther.
Wow, we're gonna see how he pulls that off while Sake again brings in those auto attacks. If there's ever a moment where Chromie misses out or Greymane misses out in the engage, Vala should be in there right away to bring out the punishes with the double supports backing him up with those heals. Now, Sake and crew continue to rotate between the bottom and the middle. Zalia gonna have to make sure that he plays safe down here, while at the same time a rotation in the middle is gonna have Tist caught by Dignitas.
It is, but nobody gets caught by the hook, and Tist gets away. It is Muradin, so the best person to be able to slow down rotations and soak a lot of the damage that Dignitas is putting out between the lanes. Trixler, I have a question for you. What heroic ability do you think we'll see from Chromie? Because there's a lot of good for Guardian of Ancient Kings, and yet Uther's the only person who could conceivably get cleansed.
Oh, that is a really good question. I think slowing sands might be the way that we go here. You want to control the battle, get some snipes going down there, get to a point where someone is low enough for Greymane to go in for the engage. We'll see what Dignitas will be picking up at that level 8 when we do get there. But for now, Chromie's grabbed Bronze Talons, Time Walker's Pursuit. Really great normal standard build here for Mane, and he's pretty effective. Watch out for his level 5 there, the Dragon's Eye.
So far, nobody has felt confident enough in their rotations between lanes to start the turn-in process. So instead, just watching out where each team is moving around, making sure that nobody gets caught. It is Sake here who's taking some damage, but playing aggressively, knowing that there's a full health bar and 2 supports or hope bar for Mary Day.
It's going to take a while before these tanks do get burned out. Oh my golly! Tist in the back right gets absolutely murdered. So does Kyocha. Mane going in. Snitch looking for some more. Not sure if he'll be able to get it. However, Reset on the bottom right corner is being zoned by Zalia.
2 quick kills to start things off for Team Dignitas. Feeling good about that as they move back out into the lanes and continue their soak. They want to further any experience advantage they can get off of those. Another hook, another root. It's Mary Day this time,
Mary
but they stay safe.
Yes, having the full hope, able to keep everyone alive here. That's the power of the battery, the Vala, the Ariel being together, especially with the Uther in the mix of the rotation when they get to the level 7, being able to keep them alive. We'll see what MVP Black will be grabbing at that level 7. But for now, there are a massive amount of gems available for Dignitas as MVP Black lost a few in that last exchange.
Yeah, they did, and it's Team Dignitas who's getting closer and closer to the first Web Weaver series. Get those, and because they get that earlier heroic ability of Chromie, they can really try to snowball things into a second turn-in phase with heroic abilities, taking down all of the towers, especially since a lot of their lanes have been pushed back, especially with the Vala and Ariel combo in the bottom.
Watching for level 7 here for Zeratul makes it much more effective here for him to get on that back line, work on killing Bakery, Chromie, or even the Greymane, bringing out that damage as Zeratul will be doing so, especially as he moves towards level 10 with that Void Prison for the isolation. But for now, both teams are holding pretty clear. Dignitas continues to try and drop off a few gems, but MVP Black is holding pretty well.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the laning setup for MVP Black. Even though they did lose some people, they have put on so much pressure and kept Leoric at bay in the bottom. And Team Dignitas just has to try to deal with that, but they have the zoning really well around the top turn-in, so they're trying to get those first Web Weavers.
Yeah, they're zoning with 2 members here, while 3 were pushing in the bottom. Uther's going to come help out with the rotation to delay it forward, but MVP Black makes a big power play. They push in for that fort, and they get it low on health.
Really well done by Reset, knowing that he is a more tanky support. He can slow down everyone and keep Mary Day and Sake from the rotation from Dignitas to try to get some kills. MVP Black has pulled down a lot of members of Team Dignitas to this bottom lane without being able to get a pick.
Yes, and Guardian of the Ancient Kings will be the pick here at level 7 for Uther, so we're not going to have that cleanse. So there could be a possibility that we do move into Temporal Loop. It is relatively easy to heal out of those, especially with Ariel get the Ages and the Uther being here for the heal, but it's still a pretty decent option if you're able to coordinate the level of aggression, almost Fnatic-like. Mane on the back left is sieging, trying to stop the turn-in as 29 gems have been dropped off for MVP Black, and we're going to have the Red Weavers actually descending as we have a turn-in in the top.
So this will help a lot in the bottom lane where that pressure has been constantly from MVP Black. MVP hoping they can take out the fort, and they will do so before the Web Weavers descend. So bot is not as much of an issue since that's been so pushed. We may see Ariel and Vala try to join up with the rest of the team, hope to maybe get some picks, or at least clear out the Web Weavers so that Team Dignitas can't skyrocket ahead in experience towards 10.
Yes, wonderful play there by MVP Black, getting that bottom pushed in, slowing down the Orcs engage. Oh, a hook comes out, it's going to be hitting on Ariel. Merida on the back left, Sake was the target as Mane sets up and gears out some damage, but still MVP Black is able to kite backwards.
Yeah, I love that it's been the supports in front of Sake, because as long as one of them are the hooks, then Sake feels free to go in and do the damage to give hope back to Merida quickly. So it's far better than losing Sake, who can't do damage because he has to run away from the rest of the team.
Yeah, we've been having Mane really try to focus down that Uther, kill him off. The idea is if you kill off Uther, you can disengage him from the fight, prevent him from not using his trait on the heals, and then re-engage afterwards if MVP Black ever oversteps. Sadly, it's not quite working out here, as we've had a really solid job of Vala Sake here, bringing auto attacks constantly on those tanks to make sure that Ariel has that hope to heal.
Things will change at 10 though, because there's the possibility of Gorge. There is also Entomb. There's Twilight Dream, and not just Roots to follow up from those hooks. So even potentially Cursed Bullet, depending on where we're going for Greymane. So things change a lot now that heroic abilities have come online for Team Dignitas for these picks.
Zelia goes in, Entomb on Kyocha, hook also as well. The root comes out, but it's too late, and Team Dignitas is not able to get the fight they would like.
Hook out of Entomb. Putrid Bile went down, so a lot was used there. MVP Black has to feel really good considering the fact that they don't have heroics abilities yet.
Yeah, this would be really nice also for MVP Black now when they hit level 10 to go in for a gauge. 30 more seconds until Entomb is up. Putrid Bile also using that fight as well. JPL and crew are going to drop off their gems, but the reset delays have been enough to slow down the fight overall, and MVP Black has now hit level 10. This is where they start fighting.
Team Dignitas dropping off some more gems, but who gets the next Web Weavers? If it's Team Dignitas, they can really start to put the pressure onto the lanes. If it's MVP Black, they stop that out, and they have a great advantage since they've already taken out the fort in the bottom. It is blue. MVP Black get the next turn-in.
And they can get some value off of this. Remember, they killed the fort in the bottom, which suddenly Team Dignitas needed to be aware of. They put automatically Leoric down there in the bottom lane, but pick potential is very scary with the Zeratul sharking around. Dignitas immediately gets behind their structures in the middle. They're going to play safe until they can have Leoric.
Speaking of Zeratul sharking, we've got a timeout for Chromie, so now 7 possible seconds. Hook catches Tist. Roots were underneath. Even slowing Sand still, but that's not the ideal target to try to burn down, although possibly it will be if they can get him set up right, since they do have Cursed Bullet. They can still hopefully get one of those Muradin kills.
You will need top tier coordination to get that pulled off, but hey, this is MSB. You need to have that coordination to even be in this situation. So we continue to have the shots here from Mania in the middle. Leoric cleared out a wave in the bottom, but may have to sneak on to the fight. Thing is, he's trying to float around the side just in case MVP Black pushes in, but they are playing well. They're pushing in the top and the middle.
Grubby on the panel talked about a potential for Wombo to follow up with Void Prison, and we still have Reset holding on to his heroic ability, so maybe if the perfect Void Prison goes down, he can snap pick Divine Storm and follow up with that. Also, even though a lot of times when you see a Vala Ariel pairing, you'll have Strafe to try to get that hope built quickly, picking up Rain of Vengeance as another potential follow-up.
Trying to hold on to that snitch if he ever goes for the engage. He wants to have some form of appeal, including the Uther stun. So not a bad pickup there for the Vala. Will he be able to pull it off? We'll see. JPL pops Putrid Bile. He's going in for the fight. Zelia's on the left side. He does have Entomb up.
Beautiful kiting from MVP Black. Quick recognition that was coming out. But Kyoshi just gets blown up!
Zeratul fallen victim. Entomb goes down. Merida on the back left. He will have Aegis to use if he needs to. The hope pops out. He is healing for now. Chromie on the back right is dealing with Tist.
Merida starting to disengage. Has to pop Crystal Aegis on himself. Rain of Vengeance to peel. Merida gets back. MVP Black trying to decide if they can still turn this back around. Cleanse has to be used. Snitch dives away.
This is a 4v5, and MVP Black is holding well here. Great control. Age is being pulled out just for the Chromie snipes. We also had Vola drop down the Rain of Vengeance as 3 members popped in to try and blow up that Ariel. Great control from MVP Black, but the 1 kill. Dignitas trying to take the moment to go for a turn, and here's a hook!
Hook roots 2, no Avatar this time. Oh, this is reset actually, so trying to stay alive, has Divine Shield if necessary, but isn't even needed to use it. Kyocha uses a Void Prison. JPL is out of the fight, trying to drop Putrid Bile so nobody can get on top. An Entomb 2 to separate out, but it's too late. Greymane is gone.
Bakery in trouble too on the bottom right. Tiz moving in. Bakery low on health. He can't heal through. Divine Shield gonna be up just in time as Leoric hopes to get out. A hook pop it out, but Kyocha just teleports out.
Lots of mobility necessary to stay alive from those hooks. And MVP Black turns around and gets 2 counter kills against Team Dignitas. But Dignitas does have some web weavers on the board. The big deal, though, is that in getting those kills, it nullifies a lot of the potential damage those web weavers could have done.
Exactly. You want to be able to bolster these pushes, especially with a Chromie. Drop down a time trap, siege away, get your Greymane on top of those forts, and that possibility isn't even available because of those deaths. Look at it here. The 4 at the top is very healthy. So is the 4 in the bottom as Uther goes down to defend. Dignitas needs to start getting picks here to make this composition even work.
It has been a patient and respectful game from both of these teams so far. But any hook, any major Void Prison could blow this game wide open in the game number 1 of this best of 5 series. Both teams eager to get the victory to join Fnatic in the winners finals. Merryday gets caught, Cursed Bullet, and this time they get the kill.
There we go, JPL helping out the team. Zelia also draining down Merryday. That'll be 1 kill. Can Dignitas do anything off of this? They have 43 gems to go for a turn-in. They can push in the middle lane if these like to group up, but they're deciding here. They're being a bit slow on their rotations, which is very uncharacteristic of them. Usually they're on point with their movements. They're getting the turn-in, so Dignitas, they need to turn it up here.
Yeah, and that's just, I'm sure, a factor of being up against a world-class team like MVP Black, feeling things out here in game number 1 on Tomb, especially with this double support. And Tomb's been used, pulls out Vola from it in a hook, but Divine Shield is there from Reset to keep Sake alive.
Dignitas turns around, they're looking for Reset here, trying to peel out Sake on the back left. Can they get Reset? Hook's gonna be up in a couple of seconds. Will they be able to grab anyone? No. MVP Black, watching those timers, starts to disengage when there's a 3 seconds left for that hook to come out.
So far, just 2 kills to 4 here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Team Dignitas nearly have enough for a turn-in, but they've also already had 2 and have yet to bring down a single fort from MVP Black's side.
Yes, it's been slow and very methodical from both our teams. MVP Black has done a little bit better in terms of killing that fort in the bottom right, but themselves have also not gotten many kills with their web weavers. It's going to come down to the late game for both of our teams, which gets scary. First off, you have Chromie Snipes available, which can be strong with Greymane, Cursed Bullet into diving in. Of course, a Power Spike at 16 for Greymane too. But on the other side, you have Vola who goes for the Stain Comps. Here we go, and engage in the middle left. Tisk's going to pop Avatar.
Avatar is popped. He's being very slowed down, and Twilight Dream hits him for a silence, so now Crystal Aegis has to be used. Was in the middle of that slowing sands. There just really wasn't ever a good place for them to feel like MVP could engage. Now a hook connects. Damage once again from Mene and the roots underneath, but Reset still very tanky with that spell shield.
The scouting drone helping Dignitas so much there. Zelia made a really good movement on the bottom left corner, but also on the top right. Snitch dealt with the Zeratul that was coming in. Here we go, Entomb on the bottom left. Snipes coming out, hook hitting Reset. Reset pops the Divine Shield. Can he live through? Ariel does have hope on the back left.
And uses it to keep Reset alive. Sake trying to do the damage to get more. Kyocha has been taken out, getting low. Mounts up, and Mene was hoping for that kill, but elsewhere around the map, fights breaking out everywhere. MVP trying to keep the members of Dignitas off of Reset so he can turn in the gems. He does. We'll have blue web weavers descending.
Oh! Uther gets sniped on the back left. JPL turns up for a hook and pulls a member in, and we're gonna have MVP Black go for the turn-in, but they lost Uther.
They did. No Uther. He gave as many heals as he could. Minions in the bottom lane finally about to take down a fort for Team Dignitas. They are neck and neck in experience, both hitting 16.
Hitting 16, the push here for MVP Black. Team Dignitas should be able to defend pretty well. Greymane's on the top. You already have your Leoric floating around as well between the middle so that we can have Mene and JPL burn down the Metal Weaver. They're going in though, and Tomb hits Sake.
It does. Rain of Vengeance on the backside too. Crystal Aegis has been used, trying to get everyone else here, but it won't be in time. Kyocha wasn't available, was all the way down, and now Ariel gets caught. Team Dignitas with 2 kills.
That's how the composition crumbles, right when you get the Vala. The Vala falling is great here for Dignitas. Now they can turn around and deal with the Web Weavers and start getting their own turn in. They clear out the middle, the top is already done, they just have to rotate to the bottom and set themselves up. But that's what you have to do. Catch the Vala or catch the support and burn them down. Dignitas finally getting it to happen here, 7-2 kills.
Both teams have been able to get kills just as at the start of their opponent's Web Weavers, which has been huge in slowing down this game. Still 5 forts remaining on the battlefield.
So many forts still set up here as we have yet to have a team take a major lead overall. Will this finally be the moment that Dignitas can set up their own Web Weaver push? They need 12 more to drop off. MVP Black is doing a solid job of defending in the top left, but Tist taking damage here from Zalia. And remember, Leoric, as we get to that late game, especially with his 13 and his 16, he starts to be a menace towards Muradin.
We've got Alpha Killer 2 trying to, if necessary, or if they can, take down the Warrior, if that's the hook target. But in this case, it's Sake. Reset once again there for Divine Shield, but still MVP Black are not able to turn things around with that Divine Shield, and now they are on the retreat.
Yeah, Dignitas should take this opportunity to go in for a massive push. Zalia on the top right, by the way, gets a massive entomb. However, no follow-up here for Dignitas, but they want to get forts here. They get the middle one, the top one should be able to be pushed in as well, and they also got Divine Shield and Aegis to be used by MVP Black, which means they have all the room in the world here to continue to siege upon them.
Trixler Mene is starting to hurt the members of MVP Black. He's got the slows. He even took Pocket of Time, which is increasing that slow and makes it so it doesn't cost mana anymore to keep up slowing sands. MVP Black just have to write off these slowing sands as a no-go zone.
Yeah, they sure do. And you know, Chromie is putting out the damage right crazy, but Vala also on the opposing side is putting out nearly 65,000 damage right now. Incredible here by Vala. They just need to get to a point where they can actually secure these kills. The Web Weavers finally start knocking on the front door of the keeps. Another hook does come out, but does not connect. MVP Black might take the opportunity to charge on in. Void Prison could be strong here.
Oh, the slowing sands is a perfect positioning to keep all of the members of MVP Black off of Team Dignitas. This is the point where MVP Black would like to fight. Entomb did go down, Reset starting to get drained.
Tisk currently sitting on top of Chromie on the back right, but Snitch will turn around with the Curse Bullet and the Twilight Dream to deal with Tisk. Can he live? No, he falls. Dignitas gets a kill. They also take out Uther.
They pull him in with the hook and they take him down. As 2 kills right now for Team Dignitas. They are also close to their 20 talent tier, and they will take a keep away from MVP Black.
Only 3 people up here for MVP Black. They have to forfeit this keep, and the first keep of the game will go to Dignitas as they take it out here in the middle. They also hit level 20. They are rotating down the bottom left. They are pushing, and they are hoping to put MVP Black on the back foot.
Look at this punishment from Team Dignitas. Any more hooks, any more picks, and it might just be game over, man, for MVP Black. But Team Dignitas back off for now, but expect them to keep the pressure on as long as they have that 20 advantage.
That's right. They have 2 levels here where they have to keep that pressure on. You can't sit here and let MVP Black get back in the game. Level 20 Vala is insane in terms of damage when you get that Farflight Quiver. So we need to see Team Dignitas set up for a turn-in, maybe even set up for a boss play, and force MVP Black to make mistakes. If not, a level and a half away, MVP Black will be able to fight.
Other level 20 talents that are huge for Team Dignitas. Bolt with Twilight Dream now, Spectral Leech for Leoric, not only for the self-sustain, but the sheer damage numbers it can put out. Hardened Shield should help too if JPL finds himself in deep trying to drop Putrid Bile for an engage or a disengage. How can Team Dignitas keep the pressure up? They are sitting up in the top lane, which makes MVP Black think about a boss, and this does pull MVP Black up. Team Dignitas are looking to cut the throat.
Chromie comes around with the snipes. He's going to be able to hit it also. Sake falling on the back left. That's the damage here for MVP Black. Team Dignitas goes. They push in here. The Void Prison out just to buy time.
Kyoch is trying to run away. He's holding on to 47 of MVP Black's gems. Meride caught, will get taken out. That's the 3rd kill for Team Dignitas, and they're heading straight toward the base of MVP Black.
Not a very merry day for Merry Day as Dignitas pushes in and heads for the core. VP has been used. There is no delay tactics available for MVP Black. Can Zeratul get a snipe? The answer is no. Dignitas continues to push in. The core starts to fall. 80%, 70%, 60%. Gilly, they got game number 1 in the bag.
Team Dignitas take game number 1 on what should have been a dominant battleground for MVP Black. Looking good, our Team Dignitas in this series.
Early game between our 2 teams was a bit on the slower side. Picks weren't happening. Both were defending very well. The double support in the early game is amazing for MVP Black, and they played it really well, but we got to that mid to late game. Once one or two hits connected, they got a couple of kills they wanted. They were able to take the lead and to walk away with the victory.
Yeah, it was a great realization when Team Dignitas needed to turn things up very quickly. And the punishment getting 2 keeps down, it really did put MVP Black in a panicked position where Team Dignitas pulled them up to the top lane, said, hey, we might go for a boss if you don't stop us. And then all they had to do was sit and wait for the perfect hook.
One has to wonder if the Stitches ban will be coming out for the rest of this best-of-5 series. You know, the analysts asked for it earlier. Obviously, it didn't come in that game, and you can see why JPL should be considered as one of the best Stitches in the world. Let's go over to our analysts and get their thoughts on the game.
That's right, Team Dignitas 1-0 at the moment here against MVP Black. And Dignitas is good at Tomb of the Spider Queen. We've seen it time and time again. The Stitches was making plays with the follow-ups.
Yeah, you have to respect the Stitches. Not banning him and banning Diablo over Stitches against Dignitas was definitely a mistake.
Yeah.
And once that Mena has the room to drop his combos, you are just doomed.
I liked a lot that part of the combo of blowing someone up relied on slowing Sands, which is a 60% slow, upgradable to 80%, which is not reliant on Guardian of Ancient Kings being able to proc off of that. You see the times where they used Entangle or Twilight Dream, Uther's armor made for a very tough to kill target. And I have to say, I was a little worried for Team Dignitas as in the beginning, they got the Web Weaver turn in, they got 2 kills, and they managed to lose a fort, not kill any, and fall behind in XP, just because of the pressure and rotation. That really surprised me, and I thought Dignitas is in for some trouble.
Yeah, there was also in the beginning when we had the level 10, a couple of fights in the middle where they tried to use the Twilight Dream to kill isolated targets, and that backfired nearly every single time. And what happened afterwards is that MVP Black initiated into them immediately. They didn't have any tools to deal with that onslaught anymore, and therefore they fell behind. And they adapted their own style a bit towards the later stage of the game, and that worked wonders to put them ahead.
The last fight, though, Fan, was fantastic stuff coming out of Dignitas.
Yeah, last fight was really good. You can see Dig really built a comp around not proccing Guardian of Kings as well. They only had the root. Everything else was just slow on bios, slow on slowing sands, Entomb. And this is the last fight. If we could pause right here. So we see yet another hook lands, so it's just the Stitches doing work with hook after hook after hook all game here, and Muradin gets rooted here. I think what happened here was this Aegis. This Muradin, he gets Aegis, and that was a critical mistake. He still had Avatar, he still could have tanked a lot of damage, but he got Aegis, and as soon as he got Aegis, Mene drops the slowing sand on him, and from that point onward, it's just going to be really hard for him to get out. But not only that, you see an Entomb on 2 targets here. So now there's 2 targets being focused down. Bakery gets a very big bolt. Twilight hits about 3 or 4 people. Silences Merryday, you know, silences the Vala, silences the Muradin. Avatar, not even popped. Reset there was too far in the back. He actually did not get Divine Shield off on either of the targets. And that was MVP Black's last chance to come back into the game. And, you know, starting with the hook, they just got picked apart.
The sick thing about that, Uther was about to walk up, use his W and use a Tears Deliverance, which would give Muradin 75% armor. It would give him 40% bonus healing, which gives him more Stone Form, it gives him more healing from Ariel. But I think you're right, that he just messed up everything, because Zeratul was ready to set up with the flank with the Void Prison. Uther was about to use his heal, but he got silenced, and yeah, it just made everything happen a little bit too fast for Black.
Yeah.
This is getting a little bit out of control now, though, for... It's weird that I'm saying this. This is getting a little bit out of control.
It's not weird. Say it.
South Korea.
Say it again.
Because
say it again.
For South Korea. Because in the end, Europe keeps bringing it to these South Korean teams where they were dominant. They were undisputably pretty dominant, aside from Fnatic actually going all the way to the grand final there at BlizzCon last year. So MVP Black in this series has to step it up, otherwise once again they'll be down to the lower bracket.
Again, after BlizzCon, a lot of teams have said,